Sometimes we get so caught up on, I'm not feeling it today, or I don't like that person, or I don't like this circumstance or this situation. You got to get mature, and you got to be at a place when you say you're going to do something, no matter what happens, you do it. Because again, when you start grinding, when you start waking up early, when you start, keeping your word to yourself, to your boss, like when you go into 120, when you all in by any means necessary, you start seeing stuff, and you start experiencing stuff, and you start having stuff that people who are not doing that, they never get.
You don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are, what you subconsciously believe that you deserve. And as you look at where you want to go, you are constantly working deliberately in the process of developing yourself to become that kind of person, that kind of manager, having that kind of consciousness to create what you want to create in your life experience. A lot of people lay back and wait for their ship to come in. No, I think you need to swim out there to that ship and pull it in.
Whatever you believe, if you think life is just a waste of time, doesn't matter what you do, or you're big boned, then obviously you're not going to go for it. You're not going to try to lose weight. You're not going to go push for that next level of your career or your finances or your relationship or anything else. Beliefs control us.
Stop whining. For real, because when you whine, you waste your energy, and you only have so much energy. You only have so many hours. You only have so many weeks, so many months, so many years to live. And if you waste it whining and complaining, you will never get to your dreams and your goals. But if you just buckle down, bear down and say, look, I'm going to get through this pain. I'm going to get through this frustration, because on the other side of pain is a reward. Man, you'll have things that people who whine and complain will never have, and you'll experience life in a way that they will never experience it.
Most people go to their graves taking their ideas with them, not wanting to make any mistakes, not wanting to fail, not wanting to step on anybody's toes, not wanting to hurt anybody's feelings, wanting to be known as the nice guy or nice lady, not wanting to be perceived as being pushy. And so they go to their graves with all of their music in them because they weren't willing to act. They weren't willing to step into the arena. They weren't willing to take care of business. And you've got to decide within yourself, come what may, let the chips fall where they may, but I'm going into action. I'm going to do something, and I'm going to do it now.
Maybe the question to ask is, where do I want my life to be today? And where am I really going? What is my destiny? What's going to fill me up? What's going to give me the meaning for my life? That's going to give me joy in my life, not just achievement, but real enjoyment, a sense of meaning and aliveness.
I started developing a way of hitting, and because of being in Islam and knowing about the weight of the earth and how could I use that earth and actually bring in power against my opponent. Mainly I learned about it 7 years ago when I got on this patch. This is called a universal patch, and I had developed something called angular attack, which means that I hit the body and the body will speak a language, and I'll attack it according to the language in which it speaks. Now, it doesn't say that on this pattern, but I see it in the pattern because I use that now. So when I got on this pattern, I was shooting various movements and moving around. I followed this pattern 100%. Had seen this pattern back in the 60s and never knew what it was. All I knew is some people say that's a universal fighting pattern, but it looked like a spider web to me, so I never paid any attention to it at all. And a guy named Sijo now, Parker told him that I had not learned many things about the art in which I came from, which is Kimpo. His job was to find me and start to teach me about these patterns and stuff. He did find me, and he invited me to his school, and this pattern was on the floor. Like I said, he put me on that and had me to move. And he called me and he said, whoa, because everybody said, whoa, look at this guy, you know. He brought me over and said, see what you're doing. Well, I didn't pay any attention to the pattern on the floor. I just saw my movements. I said, yeah, you know, I know what I'm doing, you know, because I'm doing the movement. He says, no, you're following the pattern on the floor. Now, I've never used this pattern, never really seen it on the floor, just seen it a few times. But I'm able to, over years, or 50-some years, to figure out the way this pattern worked without really knowing this pattern even exists. And they were amazed to see me be able to move that. Once I found out this pattern existed, then I began to find out what do these movements, what are these things in here? And he began to explain to me, this is my universal patch, the one underneath here. I made this one from this one. And my understanding of this patch is now put in this patch. When you look at this pattern is actually made up of circles. But it doesn't look that way. It looks like it's connected in another way on a box. Now, if you ask the people who say that they understand this, they cannot explain it as well as I can. And this is a fact. They cannot explain this symbol as well as I can, because I use this box in there to actually put myself inside this box. My feet never move outside that box. Everywhere I go, that box stays there with me. Anytime I step outside that box, I delineate my power. I don't have the same power. Inside that box, I can generate 360 degrees of torque and power. I also have the earth inside there. You see the circle inside? I use that as the earth. That is my base or foundation for generating power. These circles in there is where I get my angles from. When I get ready to throw a punch this way, I whip it from this angle and send it around that circle and send it out 45 degrees. It is the same thing with the circle for hitting with an uppercut. I send it in a line, take this foot, drop it down, send that power out and up through the left arm. When I first started talking that language, people were saying, you can't do that. But later on, I proved to them that I could do it. And fighting right now, especially on the West Coast, they consider me to be one of the hardest hitting martial artists in existence today, even at my age. And they'll say, man, that dude can generate a lot of power. Because I know that when I was coming up, I had the speed and I could hit, but I couldn't hit hard. So I fought a long time. I'd be out there fighting for 10 minutes, you know, and be beating up on him. Guy don't touch me, and then I'll be just hitting him and kicking him with punches and stuff, but I couldn't put him down. After a while, I found that I could put him on him solid. Boom! And he would go down. I said, whoa, now this is different. I hit him with a kick, boom, in the stomach or something. He dropped to the floor. I hit him before, and it was like I was hitting him, and he'd come right back at me. Now I'm hitting him and kicking him where he go down. Now I'm developing power against him. That is the God within you that you are now bringing out.
On my count. Begin. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Name an offensive movement that was made popular by BKF fighters.
Hand check, over and under.